Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the Gyro Step Podcast Network. I am Ty Windisch, one of your hosts. I am joined as always by the ubiquitous Rohan Katti. Rohan, how's it going?
I'm doing well. It's Super Bowl Sunday as we're recording this. Ty, do you have any fun Super Bowl plans?
I'm going to watch it, have a couple of beers, wait for the Bucks to somehow make me work during it by dropping some buyout news or something, but otherwise just going to enjoy it at home. What about you?
It's pretty chill, See what happens. I'm not going to make an event out of it. I never do. It's just whatever. I mean, I'll see what happens. I have other things I need to do.
I'm looking forward to it though. I'm excited
it should be good.
This year's more.
What are you rooting for?
The Bengals.
Yeah, same.
What's your score prediction?
Okay, score prediction. See, they're fun, aren't they?
Yeah, they're great. I tweeted.
If you're listening to this after the Super Bowl, just let us know how close.
Just skip this part.
Or just appreciate that we're going to nail it and say that it's Bengals 35, Rams 27.
I got Bengals 45, Rams 41.
Ooh,
going
okay.
I'm probably going to be wrong, and now that I say this, it's going to be like 11-8 or something. But I just get and it might even be one where it's like 21-21 or something, like going into the fourth quarter, and then we just get like an insane fourth quarter. Like the Bengals seem to not be able to play a normal game, so I'm excited. I just hope it's a good game. I mean, if the Bengals lose, I won't be heartbroken. I just hope it's better than the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl, which I drove an hour through intense fog, probably an hour and a half, to Milwaukee to watch it with Numak, who's friend of the show, sometimes, and except when he's acting up in the chat. But it was like the worst Super Bowl, dude. I was like, I need to drive home after this. Patriots Rams was such a bad Super Bowl. So please be better than that. That's all I ask.
It's a low bar. It should be. It should be. It's shaping up to be a good one. And you know what, Ty? This is a terrible segue. I'm not going to make a segue. Make sure you're subscribed on your podcast platform of choice. Subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe to the Substack. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Ty, let's get into this episode.
Yeah, let's do it. We're here to talk about buyout options. So the Bucks swung a huge trade. I mean, for the Bucks, maybe not NBA landscape wide, but bringing in Serge Ibaka, sending out Dante DiVincenzo, Rodney Hood, Shemi Ojeleye, and also bringing in 2 second-round picks, which they had elected.
And cash.
$3.8 million, I think.
I saw 5 somewhere.
No, I think is it 5? No, 5 is the maximum, I think. They think they brought in 3.8. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I think it's a little fuzzy on how much the cash was.
It's a little fuzzy. Great description. But they did that. So, and my take was they're going to add to this trade to bring in a wing player before the end of the deadline. They did not. So they had 2 open roster spots. It'll be 3 whenever Greg Monroe's 10-day expires, or if he's waived before that. It doesn't really make a difference. The Bucks maybe play 1 more game before it expires, but Serge Ibaka is in town now, so I don't think Monroe is going to be a part of the rotation anyway. And now
there's plenty of time now that Ibaka's in Milwaukee to take new pictures.
There sure
should we touch on that real quick?
God. No, because I don't even want to give. It's not worth it.
Just I'll say something.
Okay.
Not everyone. Raptors fans were very, very upset that the Bucks tweeted a picture of Serge Ibaka wearing his massive scarf. For some reason, just for some reason.
I think it was the watermark that got him. And I kind of do understand that.
But whatever.
Here's my take on this, because now you made me talk about it. I didn't want to. I think putting a watermark on it is weird, because it's clearly not their picture. I just think that is weird energy. But of course, it being Raptors Twitter, something that, if I saw it, I'd be like, oh, this is dumb. They're just incensed and oh my God, get your own memes, just stealing from the Raptors, blah, 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 1,000 quotes, 1,000 replies. Just really? This is
is this what you're upset about?
You could make your day into anything, and this is what you're choosing to focus your energy on. I don't get it, but oh well.
But yeah, there should be plenty of Serge Ibaka content coming soon. But you're right, they did not get a wing player, and unfortunately, we did get news that Pat Connaughton broke a finger.
It's
his ring finger.
Yeah.
Ring finger.
On his shooting hand.
Posted, on his shooting hand. He put a video up on Twitter and Instagram of him breaking his finger, like the play where he did, which was just hilarious.
What did he put with it? What's the caption?
I don't even remember what it was.
I missed
something about pain.
He's used to it, man.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just walk it off or whatever he does when he gets kicked in the face.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is why he usually tries to just take it to the face because it's less important for basketball than the finger.
Yeah,
to an extent.
Yeah, but even though the Bucks have not given a timeline, surprise, for when he is supposed to return, based on the type of injury, it is going to be a little bit. At least probably 4 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks is what I'm seeing most. So that, again, sometime in March, which also is the new, not official, Brook Lopez timeline, because we found out via Brook himself that it was a disc operation. The way he put it sounds so gruesome. I'm sure the medical name is nice and sanitary. He goes, yeah, they shaved a bit off a disc. I was like, Jesus, that doesn't sound fun at all. And I'll let you talk more here because you obviously know more about the injuries and stuff than I do. But my read on that was, and people have all these timelines now, it's looking like hopefully sometime in March as well, although we don't know the particulars and exactly what happened or, of course, exactly how the recovery is gone. But this sounds like, as far as back surgery goes, probably like what you would hope for if there has to be a back surgery.
Yeah, for sure. It's just it was to fix like a bulging disc. I'm not going to speculate on what exactly type of surgery happened. I don't want to get these things
shaving
wrong.
A bit off is the technical term, according to Brook.
I love how in the story, this is from Eric Name's story at The Athletic, by the way, just about he's saying, hey, can I talk about this? Is Bucks PR going to let me talk about it? Well, here's what happened.
No, he said, I don't care. I'll talk. Sure. We could have known this whole time if anyone found Brook.
Yeah. If anyone just found Brook on the street, it's like, hey, what type of surgery did you have? I don't know if I could say this, but here's what happened anyway. But it's looking to be something around a 4-month recovery, just where you can start to ramp up physical activity, which matches the timetable of him going on the West Coast road trip to LA to go check in with the doctor who performed the surgery, which is why he was on that West Coast road trip, which means he is potentially starting to ramp up basketball activities and should be back on the court potentially in around a month. So Pat Connaughton, Brook Lopez, both looking at around, speculating a mid-March sort of return to basketball with the Bucks, which does leave, especially with Pat Connaughton. We know Brook's been out for a while.
Yeah.
They already got a big. They got Serge. Their wing rotation is really thin right now, especially with Pat gone.
Yeah, no, it's a problem. And I will say, I think, and we'll get into buyout options right after this. I just think setting the stage was important. But, I've seen a lot of sentiment of, oh, if only they had known. Obviously the best case is Pat doesn't get hurt. But if they had known Pat was going to get hurt before the deadline, you hold on to Dante. I would hope not. Because I just don't think Dante was very good. I would hope what the reaction would have been different was, oh, we will get a wing player as part of this deal. And I think, obviously, everyone knows my favorite permutation would have been you throw in Jordan Nwora and a couple of their 7 seconds, and you take back Kenrich Williams, which I think if they had been able to do that, then you're sitting pretty good right now. I think the need for buyouts is certainly much less. However, they didn't do that. They didn't bring in anyone. Nwora got an expanded role against the Suns like it's been all season, just inconsistent minutes. I think he'll probably get more chances just because, at least in the very short term, the Bucks kind of just have to as they wait for the buyout market to develop. But there's a need for just another scorer in general off the bench and certainly for more wing players. Now that the bench wing, it's like Wes Matthews and Wes Matthews. And that's the bench wing rotation.
Yeah, and especially Dante and Pat, just getting back to that a little bit, that discourse, it's flawed in the sense that, one, like you said, Dante was not very good this season, and that's putting it lightly. And two, they just played totally, totally different roles. Is Dante going to play the 4 and box out 5s? Is he gonna do that? Is he going to be like a slasher? Is he going to get to the rim? Is he going to shoot well? I mean,
slasher Westbrook. You get that meme?
No.
Oh, it's a TikTok thing. That's why. It's a funny sound. Anyway, he might get to the rim. We just don't know what'll happen then.
Exactly. Like he'll get there and then it'll somehow go out of bounds and in like the fifth row of the seats. And it's like, oh, you were just going for a finger roll. Okay. But at least Pat's a capable finisher. So no, that logic is a little bit flawed. Dante was not going to take any of Pat's minutes. And if it was, it's not going to be anywhere close to what Pat was providing to this team because they're just completely different players.
Yeah, agreed. So, okay, let's talk about buyout, guys. I think for our format here, what we're going to do is take turns throwing out a name, and then we'll both opine on how likely the player is to get bought out. I think 2 players have been released officially, or at least reported to for sure get released since the trade deadline. Only 2, so we're going to talk about more than 2 guys, but for a lot of them, they might not even get bought out in the first place. So it's not a great list anyway, and that's even before accounting for the fact that 50% more of the guys we're going to talk about don't even get released. That's very likely. So yeah, the Bucks, whoever does get released, they're going to need to make some persuasive pitches, which I do think probably isn't too hard, right? I mean, you basically slide in as like the temporary 7th guy on a contending team with a chance to earn playoff minutes.
And they've done it before.
Yeah.
Like Marvin Williams. Yeah. Pau Gasol.
Yeah.
Who else?
I think that's about it. Most of their midseason moves are trades. I mean, they got Wes and Boogie and then gave them up, but nobody was really after those guys.
Yeah.
They would be now.
And Wes was saying he was only going to come to the Bucks.
Yeah, it makes it easier. Okay, first name. The obvious place to start, Goran Dragic, one of the 2 guys who is going to get bought out. The other is Drew Eubanks, who I don't know if we'll talk about. It's unfortunate that the Bucks only traded for a big. The big buyout market actually seems pretty solid, but Eubanks probably not a consideration. But Goran Dragic, who went to watch Heat Nets last night, has been working out in Miami. People are worried he may be a sleeper agent if he does come to the Bucks. I'm not worried about that, but I am worried about there's a lot of competition. I think he's clearly the best name to at least to for sure get bought out. What are your thoughts on Dragic, and do you think the Bucks have a shot here?
I think the Bucks definitely have a shot. I think Woj Saturday, reported that the Lakers are interested, the Bucks, the Clippers, who else is on that list? The Nets were all interested. The Warriors,
the Bulls,
were all interested. Yeah. Did I say the Clippers?
Yeah, I think they are.
Oh, were they on that list?
Yeah, I think they're on the list.
So basically a lot of contenders plus the Clippers were on that list. And the Lakers.
Yeah.
They were on that list of teams who were trying to sign Goran Dragic, assuming this buyout with the Spurs goes well, which all indications are that it will, and he will be a free agent. He is, like you said, he is definitely the best name on this list. And like you said, he's just been in Miami. He played 5 games in Toronto this season. There was this clip floating around a couple days ago where it's just like him really speaking up, trying to rally like the Raptors players and stuff. And then no one was listening to him. And then he was just gone. Like you can understand, especially with the early season struggles.
Went for the full Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
Attempted a Dinwiddie. Didn't work.
It did not work. Goran Dragic, much better than Spencer Dinwiddie. He's a very good player. He's a very good player. He's a good decision maker. He's capable with the ball in his hands. He's been a decent shooter. This season in his 5 games is not a good sample, but before last season in Miami, 37% from 3, the season before 37. Like he's a consistently good shooter. He's a consistently good decision maker. He can get the ball into tight angles. He's a good passer. Just a really, really solid player. Like Bucks fans know that he's killed the Bucks in the past.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, the guy going off is not Jimmy Butler. It's not Bam Adebayo. It's Goran Dragic. Like he's the guy you have to worry about. So if you can get a guy like him, especially on here where you already have a capable backup point guard in George Hill, just adding more depth to that guard rotation, that'd be incredible. Incredible. Like you don't need to rely on Dragic to be like a high profile scoring guard or anything, or even like a starter. You have Drew Holiday. You have Grayson Allen. He's just like a solid backup. And I know people are upset. He's had some dirty plays in the past, especially against the Bucks. Would you rather have that player on your team or facing your team?
Yeah,
that's my question.
And I think for the sleeper agent combo, it's like, does a 35-year-old longtime vet want to win a ring or inspire a new genre of Heat fanfic? And I feel like the answer is pretty obviously win a ring. Dragic is just like, and I've seen some people have replied to me sharing how much I would like the Bucks to sign Goran Dragic with like, George Hill has been good. You don't understand. And like, first of all, I talk about George Hill being important connective tissue like every chance I get. I do understand.
Yeah, you're just not listening to the pod.
Yeah, or people don't even read the full tweet. They see like 2 words, they just reply. It's like that has nothing to do with my point. That's my least favorite thing about Twitter is people just like they just like will just argue with like a point that you didn't make, and I'm just like, what do you want me to do here? Like I'm not gonna just whatever. It doesn't matter. I think he would be a great George Hill complement because the Bucks need that consistent scoring from the bench. I think those two could play together very easily. Like, I don't think it's a question of like, oh, you want to get Dragic and then not play George Hill. No, I want to play both. Like, then you basically have Wes and Pat as more of forwards and those two as more of guards, which honestly may be what you just have to do at this point, given the other options out there on the wing. I mean, we'll talk about some wing players, but the options are not great. And I think I'd rather play a little smaller than you'd like, but play at good players than try to play a wing player who just sucks. And we learned that's a better option from watching Rodney Hood and Shemi Oshale this year.
Don't lump Big Rod in there. I'm still upset.
He was barely playable.
I'm upset.
Shemi was not playable, but still, it's like they didn't want to play Hood because he wasn't that good. They wouldn't play Shemi because he was terrible. Like, I would rather play small. And like, if my bench is hopefully Bobby at some point because Brooke is starting, and then 4 guys who the biggest is Pat Connaughton, I think you can live with that. You stagger the minutes of your bigger guys as much as possible, but I think you can figure it out, especially if you have Giannis and Brooke back to be that back line. I think they can make up for some of that size loss. I think I'd rather have more talent there than try and go for fit if fit means a player who I never want to play in a big game. And I wouldn't mind Dragic playing a little bit in a big game. I think he's still got enough in the tank.
You could see him close games, honestly.
Potentially, if he looks good.
Spot.
And I've heard he stayed in very good shape.
He's that type of guy. He's capable of doing that. Like, I don't understand the animosity. Like, okay, I understand the animosity, but in terms of like not wanting him on this team, he'd be great on this team. You just perfect, like you said, talent matters. You want more good players on your basketball team. Goran Dragic, it's the best available player. And like, it makes sense. Just as simple as that.
Yeah. So fingers crossed, really. I mean, it seems like the Mavericks were the shoe-in. Then they did the terrible Spencer Dinwiddie, Davis Bertans trade, and now that seems like it's taken a back burner. And obviously, if you're not aware, Dragic, Slovenian, Luka Doncic, Slovenian, they played on the national team together. Those two are very close.
And isn't Igor on the Mavs staff?
Oh, is Kokoskov on their staff? Maybe. So then another tie. Although the Slovenian connection doesn't always matter in team building. The Phoenix Suns hired Igor Kokoskov to run the team and still didn't draft Luka Doncic. Could you imagine? Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic?
I see that's a butterfly effect. They probably don't trade for Chris Paul.
Why not?
Because you have Luka and Devin Booker.
Who cares?
I don't know. I'd say probably don't do that. It worked out pretty well for the Suns.
It could have worked out better.
Yeah, they could have won that title. But guess what? They didn't. The Bucks did. Also, like, are the Suns okay? Like, they act like they won the title after they beat the Bucks.
That's what you have to do. We've been there. 24-1 shirts.
Yeah, but that was for a team that didn't make the postseason time.
I don't know.
This team is coming off of finals.
I'm not gonna. They're fun. They're fun. They're
act like they're fun.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna legislate.
Act like you've been there though.
They haven't.
They went to the finals.
It's not the same.
True.
I don't have any expectations. The Suns should have fun. I can't get upset about any of this. JaVale McGee saying we dogs. Sure, go ahead. I mean, it's
wait, he said that?
Yeah, he said like we are dogs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't care. They're a good team. They should have fun.
Win something.
They're gonna lose to the Bucks again in the finals. Okay, who's your next buyout option?
Next buyout option is someone who's already a free agent, part of the massive trade between the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets, and that's DeAndre Bembry.
Yeah,
who was waived by the Brooklyn Nets.
I'm gonna let you go. But this was the one guy where I was going to say this, there's no wing that is going to be better than Dragic, or like at least, like the weird plot of like better fit, worse player, but it works out better. He's like the one guy who I was like, well, maybe that would be better than playing super small.
I don't know what plot you're talking about.
My brain, just don't even, just go. Just don't try to decipher how I think about things.
DeAndre Bembry, he's started a lot of games for the Nets, given the Nets have had to start a lot of players because they've had players in and out of the lineup completely for their own control, no matter what they want to say. He's a solid 3-point shooter, allegedly. I think he's a fake 3-point shooter. I'll get into that.
This year it's good, right? But career, not so much.
This year, he's shooting 41.7% from three on 0.8 attempts per game. That's fake numbers.
Super fake. Yeah.
Look, last season with the Raptors, 26.4% from three on 1 attempt per game. Season before that, 23.1% from three on 1.5 attempts, 28.9%. And then he had a 1 year of 36.7. And then his rookie year, 0.056.
Yeah.
Or 5.6%.
Yeah, that's on like less than 80 attempts. But yeah. I'm with you.
He's a fake shooter. He's a fake shooter.
He's a fake shooter for sure. Although, I mean, it'd be nice if he could shoot, but I think the assumption should be he's a fake shooter.
Yeah, the draw here is he's a good wing. He's 6'5". He's got a plus wingspan. He's a great defender, tenacious defender. That's the plus. That's the draw here. You're looking for someone who's going to D up. You're not looking for someone who's like expected to be a great 3-point shooter, which is what scares me. That's what scares me, because it's like if all DeAndre Bembry is doing on offense is just standing in the corner, that's bad. That's not good.
But you look at, that's not the shooting number I care about. The last season, 59% from two. This year, 60% from two, and he takes triple the shots. This year, it's more like quadruple the shots from two that he does three. This guy scores super efficiently within the arc. And I think as long as the Bucks don't try to make him only a shooter like they did basically with PJ, which hopefully that's a lesson learned now, looking at how good he's been in Miami with more role. I think you need to get guys involved more offensively, or at least in different ways, not just in the one way. I think he contributes a lot there. And he's a good passer too. He's a guy who hovers around 2 assist turnover ratio most seasons. I think his career is not that good, but I think it's something he added more later on. But you look at, he had a 2.5 assists per game season. This year he's at 1.3 and less usage, but only 0.6 turnovers. I think he's a pretty good passer. I think he's kind of, I look at him a little bit of the George, like a bigger George Hill in terms of, I think he's kind of connective tissue. But I think just having a wing who can defend and do something on offense would be a huge win considering the state of the buyout market.
Yeah, he's definitely probably, as of right now, the best available wing. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But he's just a guy. I'm surprised Brooklyn waived him, honestly. I think he fit in really well there.
You look at their roster, and it's like there was really no one else they could have. Maybe not. This is
Wade Blake.
Yeah. I would have been interested there too, less after Surge, but
I think Bembry's been better for the Nets than Blake has.
I think Blake has been a little bit better lately, so maybe they're just rolling the dice that continues, and then, here's the other thing though, they really need. Oh, I guess no, they got Drummond. I was gonna say they need bigs, but they got Drummond, so no, they don't. They really don't. Let's talk about another guy who got shipped off and probably will get waived as part of that trade, Paul Millsap. Are you interested at all in him anymore? Or for me,
is he getting waived?
He's on a lot of lists. People think the Sixers might look to get a different guy with that roster spot, I guess.
We'll see.
I wouldn't be interested anyway. I think he's cooked in more of a 5.
No. That was a bad take of mine in the last off season. I really wanted Paul Millsap on this team.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he doesn't even get waived, But if he does, I'm not. Like, there's a bunch of washed centers on a lot of people's lists. I don't really care anymore. I think also, I want to say I'm changing my take from the deadline pod. I don't think this trade anymore was as much about roster spots as it was Serge. I think the Bucks like Serge because I think
they do too.
I think there's intel. I think they have more intel than us, and that's like there was a Pau Gasol rumor that like, oh, the Bucks talked to Pau, and everyone, oh my God, what? Huh?
Mark Gasol.
Sorry, yeah, Mark. Pau's probably still playing in the G League or something right now. Pau is addicted to basketball. Mark is like, I'm good. But there was a reaction like, oh, why did we give up all this stuff for Serge if Mark Gasol? And I was like, they clearly talked to Mark first. So either Mark wasn't coming over or they weren't as excited about Mark. But I don't think Mark called them back 2 seconds after they called in the Serge trade. They're like, oh, darn, we could have had Mark. Like, they know more than us about the state of these guys. The Bucks teams reach out to guys who are available to gauge interest, see what they want to do, etc. Like, I think Mark probably just isn't going to come over then, or they weren't as interested. But I think they like Serge a lot, and I think they're excited to have another drop-capable big on the roster.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just, I think, like, again, everyone needs to temper their expectations. I'm going to say this, but he's not prime Serge Ibaka, not even close to prime Serge Ibaka. Not even like 2 years ago.
I don't know if many people expect that.
I don't know. The Bucks are posting Thunder highlights of him. Like, it's that was like 10 years ago. I don't know what people are expecting at this point, but he's not Thunder Serge. He's not even Raptors Serge anymore. Like, Raptors Serge was really good. Like, he's not. The Bucks fans know that. God. What?
He's really good over his last 3 games. He had a 20-point game.
Yeah, it's a very, very small sample.
It is.
Ty, don't feed into what I'm trying to dispel.
No, I didn't even think the production was like this. He's had multiple 17-point games. He's still useful.
Yeah, he's still useful. That's the point I'm trying to make here. He's not going to be like a high impact player, but he's useful and he's big and he's capable of playing drop. That's what people should expect.
Yeah, 14 and 8. They're 13.7, 8.7 over his last 3 games. 2 starts. Good
nice.
For Serge.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. Anyway, one of those was against the Bucks. I barely remember him in that game. 7 points, 7 boards. Having a consistent scorer, rebounder, and consistent scorer meaning like around 10 if he plays a lot of minutes, will just be really nice off the bench. And I think we saw that with Boogie and a little bit with Moose until the Phoenix game. The wheels just fell off. Okay. I said Millsap. Who's next on your buyout list?
I mean, here's a name that I just wanted to talk about, but not as a buyout option, and that's Eric Bledsoe.
Oh, yeah.
In the sense that we talked about him, you especially talked about Eric Bledsoe as a potential option for this team as a buyout candidate. Doesn't really seem like he's getting bought out based on the comments made by whoever's running the show in
Joe Cronin.
Yeah. Do you have the exact quote?
No, I had it up earlier. They basically said they're not going to buy him out.
Yeah.
So, which stinks for the Bucks because again, it's the same as Dragic. There's a lot of people who are just ardently against this and, okay, kick rocks. Like, he can play. He would be super useful just to have a productive player next to Hill who's going to score a little more just because Hill's scoring is inconsistent. And, oh, well, not happening.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Okay. Let's get to the other, I think, probably target people are most excited about, which actually might still happen, Gary Harris, who, funny enough, like Gary Harris early this season looked cooker than cooked and then really got it together starting about a month or so ago, I think, and played really well, comparatively over that span. And I think now he looms as probably the best wing-ish option. I guess maybe Bembry, one of those two. Very different players. Harris would be more of the 2-3 just production. I mean, 11 points per game. That's more than Bembry would score. Got himself up to 38% from deep after, his first Orlando year. Actually was at 36. Later in Denver, he could not hit threes at all. But shot 50% from 2. Not really, a passer. 2 assists, not bad. 2 rebounds, okay. But just having a guy who could score and hit threes off the bench like that at that volume would be really nice for the Bucks.
Yeah. Gary Harris so far in the month of February, 50% on threes and 6.4 attempts per game. Very small sample, but very good.
And a good defender as well.
Yes. That's always been the trademark of Gary Harris ever since like the tail end of Denver plus in Orlando after the Aaron Gordon trade is just like, okay, this guy can play defense, but he can't like throw a stone in the ocean right now. It's just like, he can't hit anything. But now if he's starting to find a shot again, that's where it's like, oh, this is the Gary Harris that we remember from that like one season where he was super, super good in Denver.
Yeah. No, I think Harris would you be more excited about Dragic or Harris? Or Bembry?
Ooh.
Rank them, because I think those are probably going to be our top 3. We'll go through more. We'll see if another one excites us.
Bembry's definitely 3.
Yeah.
I think Dragic is 1.
I'm kind of torn. I think
Dragic is the best player. Dragic is the best player, but probably. Harris is the better fit.
Yeah, and I am a little worried about Dragic holding up. I know he's in good shape, but he is just old. And I think Harris being a little younger would be nice. Although you're probably not keeping either. Oh, you never know. Never say never.
I mean, he's almost 36, Dragic. Yeah, and then Gary Harris is 27. So.
Yeah, that's a big difference. I mean, injuries can be random, and Harris has dealt with injuries too. But Dragic obviously missed some postseason time last year. Was that was important, or 2 years ago, or I think both actually. So I think I might.
It was 2 years ago. It was the finals run for the Heat.
Well, did he play did he just get back from injury and he wasn't the same last year?
No, he was fine last year.
Are you
I
sure?
think so, because he was making dirty plays on Chris.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't have to be fully healthy it's the shot part that's more concerning, I think.
Yeah, but I think his major injuries occurred 2 seasons ago in the bubble.
I think you're right. I mean, I know that was a big deal of why they couldn't play. Oh yeah, he was back for a while. He did miss some pretty significant time last year too, but it was before playoffs. Okay, but I think I would slightly go Harris Dragic, but I'd be really happy getting one of those two. I think.
Could you imagine if they got both?
It's possible, and I know that's what people are saying right now into their headphones is just get both. Why not both? That'd be amazing. I think it's hard to get the top 2 buyout guys in a given year, but that if Harris does get bought out, that would be phenomenal. I mean, the problem there and why I think they won't get both is, probably hard to sell them on playing on a bench with each other and Wes and Pat, presumably when he gets healthy, and George when he gets healthy.
And Thanasis.
I think Thanasis should play more, to be honest. And Bobby. Like, I bet they kind of look at each other and go, this town's probably only big enough for one of us. Although maybe they both bet on themselves being a guy who makes it into the closing line.
Or they just both want to win a ring.
Get an A on the group project, yeah.
Yeah, or it's like we can both contribute and increase our chances of getting a ring,
Yeah. I mean, that'd be awesome. I think getting all 3 of them in Bembry, it's like, oh my God.
If either Gary Harris or Goran Dragic need pitches, just send them our details. Just get in touch. We'll make good pitches.
Exactly. We are good at that. No, but I guess we didn't we pitch Giannis in our mailbag and then he did resign?
Exactly.
We're 1 for 1. We're 1 for 1 on pitches.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we did that. You're all welcome. But I think one of those 3, I'd be happy. One of Dragic Harris, I'd be very happy. 2 of those 3, or I'll say one of Dragic Harris and Bembry, that feels like a 10 out of 10. All 3 feels like 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think
you could get all 3.
You could. I think they'll probably just
one of them is not playing if you're getting all 3.
I think it's a 10 out of 10 buyout market if you get one of Harris, Harris Dragic, and then also Bembry. I think that is the perfect buyout.
I think here's my rating. I think it's an 8 out of 10 if you get Bembry. I think it's a 10 out of 10 if you get, or a 9 out of 10 if you get one of Dragic or Harris. I think it's a 10 out of 10 if you get one of Dragic, Harris, plus Bembry. And then it's just like galaxy brain or universe brain if you get all 3 of them.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, it'd be actually insane. Bucks, like you said.
People would be looking into the Bucks for tampering again. It's like,
are we?
Is this fair for the league?
Is the Harden thing done? Are they looking at this?
I have no idea.
He clearly tampered like crazy.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I hope they do something. I mean, Nets send a memo, and Daryl Morey loves. Oh no, that's the other side. Never mind. There won't be a memo sent. Daryl Morey will send a preemptive anti-tampering memo. All right, let's run through some other names. I think those are our top three.
Did you see his tweet exchange
No.
With who's the current GM of the Rockets? Raphael Stone?
Yeah.
Someone related to him was tweeting about like I think it was his wife or something. Raphael Stone's wife was tweeting like, oh, just something like sitting in his office or something. And then Daryl Morey replied, did they ever fix the hole that I made in the wall? And then they replied like, yeah, it was the easiest thing to fix since you've been gone.
Oh my God. Jesus. That's fun. Okay. Some other guys. John Wall.
John Wall. Yeah. He's a name. He was rumored to be, in a potential trade at the deadline with the Lakers. I believe it was Chris Haynes who reported that the Lakers turned down was it the Lakers?
Yeah, the Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers turned down a
Wall for Westbrook and a first.
Yeah, Wall for Westbrook and a first.
Which, quickly, they should have, but they should have countered Westbrook, THT, and a first for Wall and Gordon. That was the trade they should have done. But
they should have done something.
Westbrook and a first for Wall is bad business. I don't think Wall helps them that much, but I digress.
Yeah, if you can get Wall and Gordon.
You want Gordon. Wall is, we'll talk about Wall, but Gordon was Gordon would have been an amazing Buck. They had no salary. He's not going to get bought out. If he does, that'd be incredible.
He still has another year.
Yeah.
It's not happening. But John Wall, he has not played this season. Do you remember like a couple months ago where it's like, oh, John Wall is ready to play for the Rockets again? And the Rockets are like, yeah, we're good.
They're like, you're not starting if you want to play 8 minutes a game. And John Wall was just like, no, thanks.
Yeah, like I'm fine.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. We'll see what happens going forward. But John Wall, here's the thing. We have no idea what he looks like at this point.
Yeah.
You think he's better than Eric Bledsoe. So
could still be true.
Do you still stand by that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you only standing by because I just brought it up right now?
No, I think he probably still is. I think the buyout chances are low. We probably won't know. We probably won't get an answer to that until next season. But it's possible. I mean, this is the Blake Griffin situation. And everyone thought that was impossible until it happened. And I think how they structured that one in Detroit was they still owe him a ton this year and then nothing else. And I think he took a little bit less. So that would be the arrangement. I don't think Houston would do that unless he gave up like a substantial amount next year. And I don't think Wall would do that. I think it's more likely both sides roll into the offseason than they trade him as an expiring. Maybe they circle back to the Lakers. But it would be I think it'd be right up there with the other two guys for me. A little bit lower than Harris Dragic, but above.
I think it's a lot lower.
I think he's above pretty much anyone else. Any other guard.
Okay, that's true. That's true. He's a tier down from Dragic, Harris, and I think even a tier down from Bembry.
Yeah, I'm saying guards only. Just
guards only. Okay,
I would rather have Wall than Schroder easily.
Yes, absolutely. Just purely because I don't like Dennis Schroder at all.
Yeah.
It's tough to talk about this because we have no idea what he looks like.
I mean, we saw him last year, and he was inefficient at super high volume, but still productive. And I don't think there's that much reason to assume he's going to have regressed a ton.
Yeah, but like, how much is a year away from basketball going to be?
Well, I mean, again, it's like we glossed over this with Dragic because he played 8 games. Is that really that much? I mean, we have 8 games to go by. He looked relatively the same, but are 8 games really like that much of a proof of concept?
It's something.
Yeah, it's something.
And it's not like Dragic has dealt with injury. He's obviously dealt with injury, but not to the extent that John Wall has.
Yeah, but not between the last time we saw him play games and now.
I know, but that factors into the regression.
I suppose. I don't think he's going to be, obviously, prime John Wall, but I still trust that he's going to be a useful, productive player.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that. So, yeah, we're on the same page. He's probably tier 2, tier 3.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Let's say mid-tier 2.
It'd be cool.
Bembry can be the top end of tier 2 and then Wall.
Yeah, I like that. We should have done a tier list for this.
Well, we'll organize it now. So Dragic, Harris, tier 1, tier 2, Wall, Bembry. Do we even care about below tier 2?
I mean, let's get into some names. We'll just rapid fire go through some names. Tristan Thompson.
It's like would have been probably top of tier 3 or very bottom of tier 2, but now I just don't care because they have Serge. Like I don't think they're going to target a true center.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to target a center at all, especially like you said, they have Serge. They're hopefully getting Brook back. Please get Wilson, Brook.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah. Also,
it's just like what is Tristan? Who?
Tristan. In the Pacers' first game back.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so we'll see if he gets bought out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think probably.
I guess it depends.
Might go to the Cavs.
It might depend if they bring back Turner or not. He'll probably go to the Lakers, I think, if he gets bought out to go play with LeBron again. But the Cavs are maybe.
Yeah, just add to the laundry list of washed centers who don't play. Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan, Tristan Thompson.
It's hilarious.
Anthony Davis.
They put DeAndre Jordan on every buyout list because, like, oh, they'll buy him out for a spot. If the Lakers are buying you out, I shouldn't say that. I actually like one guy that they're rumored to maybe buy out, but it's probably not a good sign.
Also, isn't DJ on a min anyway?
Yeah, it's not really
it's not a buyout. It's you're waived. You're just cut.
if he signs somewhere else, I think they could offset the salary. So I guess technically, but
on a minimum,
I think they still get to, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
But I don't think that's not negotiating with him though. That's just like NBA rules.
Exactly. The guy I think you're talking about is Kent Bazemore.
Yeah, it's like that tier 3. Tier 3
for sure.
Like he shot 40% last year.
He's been bad this season.
Yeah, but he's also been on the Lakers this season.
Which is fair. And like you said, 40% from 3 last season, which is he had a productive stint with the Golden State Warriors last season. So it's just like, fine. Like if you want to take a chance, have another Rodney Hood on your bench, sure. No, that's disrespectful to Big Rod. If you want to have another Shemi Ojeleye on your bench with a chance of, maybe having some production, sure. Why not?
I think he's closer to Hood than Shemi, but he probably is in between the two. Also, I want to take a victory lap here.
Of course you do.
I was laughed at for having Malik Monk on the top of my MLE list. Malik Monk is good.
You had him above Bobby Portis on the Bucks free agency board.
Post-Brook injury.
That's why I laughed at you.
Having him near the top on that list looks pretty good right now.
He also missed the majority of this season.
He's played 51 games.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah, well, I've never liked Kendrick Nunn. Malik Monk has played 51 games, 13 a game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 47% from the field, 40% from 2, 56%, or 40% from 3, 56% from 2. He's good. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
not
fine.
You can take a victory. Not better than Bobby. I'll take the L on that part of it.
He's the number one target on your list. You're like above Bobby Portis. Who do we want? Malik Monk.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it would have been really bad now, obviously.
Yeah. So I'll let you. I shouldn't be mean. You should have a mini victory lap.
A mini, yeah. It's a half. It's a partial victory lap. We kind of talked about Schroder already. I do think his production would help. I also think, like Adam passionately said, go listen to the trade deadline pod if you haven't already. He probably does hijack the team in a very negative way as well.
Yeah, just we don't need that type of energy in here. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Who else? DJ Augustine reunion?
I just can't see it, dude.
You got waves.
He was better that last year in Houston than he was in Milwaukee, but now he was bad again.
It's a low bar.
Yeah,
it's a very low bar. He was not great in Milwaukee.
I feel like the fit clearly wasn't there, so it's probably not worth trying. Like bottom of tier 3, I guess. Or is he tier 4? Is he just like not? Don't even.
I think he's tier 4.
He might be tier 4 now.
Who else?
Corey Joseph.
Is he getting bought out?
He made Hollinger's list. He's got a player option next year. I don't know. He's 7th on Hollinger's list, which I found surprising. I don't know
Kojo's
if he
fine.
Bought out. Yeah,
I think he's tier 3.
He's he's pretty solid tier 3 though.
I'm not mad.
He might be bottom of tier. Who else do we put in tier 3?
Bembry and Wall.
No,
not tier 3.
That's
tier 2. That's tier 2. Tier 3 was.
Is that Bazemore?
Yeah.
Oh, he's probably bottom of tier 2. He's been good this year.
Okay, so he's tier 2, and then Bazemore's tier 3.
Bottom of tier 2.
Yeah. He's treading the line between top of tier 3 and bottom of tier 2.
Yeah, and then Millsap is tier 3 and Tristan Thompson is tier 3.
Yeah. I don't know who else could be in here. I don't know. I don't even know.
Satoransky, maybe.
But like, why?
I would put him near the top of tier 3. I think he's been bad the last couple of seasons, but change of scenery, being on a better team, he had some.
You already had a change of scenery. That's why you went to New Orleans.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm out. Don't need that in my life.
Him or Ken Bazemore, though?
Neither, really.
That's fair. That's fair. Kevin Knox.
Rather play Thanasis like 25 minutes a game.
Okay, we don't have to do that. We can play him.
Would you rather play Thanasis 25 minutes a game, or would you rather play Satoransky 25 minutes per game? I know they're not comparable players, but just saying.
That's tough. I think Thanasis is better. I just don't think Thanasis can play more than 15 minutes a game reliably.
So your answer is Satoransky?
No, my answer is I'm not doing this. Kevin Knox. Would you give Kevin Knox a chance?
No.
I wouldn't either.
What's the point?
Would you give Jarrett Culver a chance? I don't think he gets
like Kevin Knox in the Western Conference.
I think he's a little better than Kevin Knox. I think Kevin Knox is just straight up a 2-pack of ass. But Culver, I'm a little intrigued by still. But not very much.
He's like Kevin Knox who didn't play in the Knicks marketplace, so everyone's like, oh, maybe he has something.
Yeah, that's fair. I want to talk about G League guys, because I think that's the other answer.
Yes.
And I think there's probably going to be some G League guys out there. And actually, I mentioned before the pod, I was going to surprise you with a question as a segue to do this. So last night, I was at the Ignite Herd game here in Oshkosh. So got to see some NBA prospects up close. And before we talk about the G League guys, probably just a couple who are on the Herd, do you think the Bucks are actually going to use their pick this year? This is a year that they have their first. They're not going to swap, obviously, unless New Orleans has a bigger brain fart than usual. So do you think they actually use it, or do they just trade it on deadline day, which has been their trend? The last time they used a first, Dante DiVincenzo.
I think they do. I really think they do. They got to get some sort of young guy.
A cost-controlled rotation player would be massive.
You have to. You have to at this point.
We're seeing it this year with how thin the Bucks are.
Yeah, you have to get someone on a rookie contract who can actually be like somewhat playable, and you have better chance of that in the first round than you do in the second round. And they don't have a second round pick this year because they forfeited in the tampering investigation in which they were not found guilty of tampering. Oh, they might. I think
they do. I'm going to check future drafts detailed, but they've got 7 total that are tradable. So I think one is a 20.
Their own second round pick is not a thing. This draft is only going to have 59 picks, by the way, because the NBA. Oh yeah, Miami it's only going to have 58 picks because the NBA did not find evidence of the Bucks tampering. I'll still never get over that.
They don't have a second. Their earliest is 2023, and they have 2024. And then another in 2025. So they're only slated to have one pick, and it's a first round pick, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. So I think they do use that pick.
I hope so. So a couple of very quick guys.
That's not an answer.
What do you mean?
I hope so is not an answer to yes or no.
Oh,
or an answer to would they use it or not?
I don't think they do. I bet they trade down. I bet they trade to an early second and then future seconds or something. But we'll see. I would hope they do too. But
just use a pick, John. I know your first round history isn't great, but
we don't have that much to go off of.
Exactly.
Actually, you know what's fun is this pick will actually be pretty good for Buck standards because they're not having a great regular season.
Yeah.
Because this isn't like the NFL.
Yeah, and maybe John Horst is actually decent. Like, look at what DJ Wilson's doing with the OKC Blue.
Christ. Right now, if the season ended today, obviously it doesn't. It would be a coin flip if they get 23 or 24. Because it doesn't go on playoff results like the NFL. It's standings, and the Bucks, we'll see. Maybe
Does the NFL go on playoff results?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
That's really dumb.
I don't hate it.
But because the NFL postseason can be so fluky because it's only one game.
Well, yeah, but I think it sucks if you're the 1 seed and you get bounced early. It's like, damn, we get the 30th pick and we didn't get to go to the conference finals.
But that's also your own fault for being the 1 seed and getting bounced early.
But yeah, that's the nice thing about the one nice thing about, the Bucks almost certainly not being home team in the finals is the last 3 picks right now are all going west. It's Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis is 30, 29, 28. Then Miami, Chicago, then Utah, then the Bucks and Cleveland, who are currently tied in record. So even if the Bucks do take the 1 seed, it's not going to be like 29 or 30. So it's an okay bottom of the first round pick. I just want to go quickly a couple guys who intrigued me on the Ignite team, and I don't think they'll take an Ignite player. I bet they would take an older player. But Michael Foster Jr., Milwaukee area, a big guy, an explosive big guy with some pop, more of a bruiser than you're used to seeing. Probably not a great fit, but would be fun because he's from Milwaukee. He's mocked around the end of the first right now, but there's a lot of time. But the guy who I'm really intrigued by, not even mocked in the first right now, I don't think, Scoot Henderson. Guy's name is Scoot, and he scoots, man. He's explosive. I think he's like 6'1", but it looks to me like he's way longer than that. He looks like he has long arms. He can shoot a bit. He can score. I think he was their second leading scorer in that game. So keep an eye on Scoot. Scoot would be a fun gamble for the Bucks if they did take him. Maybe that would have to happen in the second round. Maybe it'd be a trade down. Who knows? But I like Scoot.
I'm with Adam in just draft a point guard.
Scoot.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about after you talk about Scoot Henderson. Like, just take a guard that's like actually a point guard and not like go forward in a guard's body who you want to make a point guard who's not actually a point guard. Shout out to number 0 for the. Yeah, shout out to I was saying number 0 for the Sacramento Kings. Or MCW. Yeah, I guess that works too. Should we MCW potential buyout game? Bring the band back together?
He's got ankle surgery in August. He's just gone. The Dante. He pulled a full Dante.
Yeah. He's ahead of the timeline, though.
I mean, if he can play right now, it'd be tier 3 or C.
I think tier 3.
Did we do numbers or letters? We did numbers. Yeah, tier 3.
Tier 3 for sure. But no, like the G League guys could be an intriguing option for buyout. But who were you thinking for the G League guys? Like, obviously, I know Tuck has been a good option.
Tuck is my number
Gabriel.
1. Yeah, Wendy and Gabriel would be a nice option too. They're all in Oshkosh right now. And there were, as always, Bucks people in attendance at the Ignite game. Of course, some of that is to scout the Ignite guys, but weren't there
more than usual? Weren't there like 7 Bucks Ops guys there?
So I was up top for this one. I wasn't courtside, so I didn't get the seat, but I did see a lot of them, but I did not see more than usual. Actually, yeah, I saw a few guys there. They had a few guys there. But again, it's like, you can't point to that and be like, oh, they're looking at herd guys because it's the Ignite game. It's like, it's a chance to literally scout draft prospects at your G League team. Why would you not? So, but I did. So I talked to Chason Allen after the game. He said he's pretty confident he's going to lose some of these guys to 10 days, not with the Bucks necessarily, but just with the open roster spots. Like the herd, it sounds like, are expecting this, which makes sense. They've already had Wendian's been called up before this season. Tuck's been called up before this season. I would expect that to continue. Apparently, Jalen LeCue has gotten offers, but is not interested. He would rather stay and focus on development. He feels like that's more important than a 10-day where there's no consistency or promise beyond the season. So we'll see if he gets an offer or not. And
I respect that. Betting on yourself.
Well, yeah, honestly, I don't think it's a terrible bet because not just for LeCue because, he's a great player. I think we'll see. He's looked good this year as a lead ball handler. But what do you really gain from a typical 10-day this season?
Exposure.
But do you? Is Jalen LeCue getting called up and starting? Maybe at one point in the year, but right now? Or is it like emergency depth?
Probably emergency depth, yeah.
Like, it's just like, I don't think it's a terrible idea when you look around and, Wenyan's been on, I think, 2 different 10 days. I think Tuck has been on 2 different 10 days this year. And I don't think it's a bad bet to go for those either and try to win a spot. But more often than not, those guys do just end up back in the G League with, 2 weeks of interruption in their season. So I don't hate if you're really focused on development, like prioritizing that. I'm sure the herd don't hate it either. It must be nice to at least have one guy there all year, if he is there all year. We'll see. He didn't rule out signing somewhere. But I think Tuck for the Bucks makes the most sense. I think positionally, he's kind of like a smaller Pat in that he's a little guy who plays up. I mean, not little. He's like 6'4", but he's strong and he can body bigger guys. He's a really good rebounder, very bouncy. The shot is a little inconsistent, but he gets to the rim well. And I think, this obviously doesn't dictate everything about Bucks team building. I do think it would be cool for a guy who's played exceedingly well for the Herd in 2 different seasons over 3 years. I think a guy like that should get a shot with the Bucks at some point, and this is the ideal point. There's really no downside to giving him a 10-day. You can still have the open spots, for Dragic or Harris or whoever else, Bembry. I think he should get a shot.
Or all three.
Or all three.
Speaking it into existence, Ty.
Yeah. And I like Lendell Wigginton. I think he's a good bet on the 2-way. I do think Tuck is better, and I would rather see Tuck get minutes than Wigginton. Especially the Phoenix game was a little rough. Had some nice plays, but I think Tuck,
he was also guarding Chris Paul.
Yeah, I mean it's a non-ideal situation for sure. Tuck has more NBA minutes than Wigginton even now after Wigginton's Bucks tenure. I would like to see Tuck get a shot, and Gabriel would be fun too if you want like more of that. If you want to, if Bembry falls through, he might be right up there in terms of options for the 4.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned Wenyen Gabriel's name in the sense that if you want to get more of a bigger wing type guy, because like Pat, it's hard to replicate Pat's production because it's like, it's like a smaller guy who plays up. Like that's difficult. That's really difficult, especially for a guy like Rajon Tucker. It's going to be a little more difficult to translate that. Wenyen Gabriel's already just bigger. And he's used to playing up. He's been playing a lot of 5 with the Herd. I know you've talked about that a lot. And it's just like, he's used to sizing up, and you don't even need to size him up that much.
He'd probably be sizing down with the Bucks, honestly, from what he's used to playing. Like
exactly,
he's been a 5 in the G League. He would not be a 5 with the Bucks now that they have Serge at least. Yeah, I would like that a lot. And you know what you could do if you don't like? I think one option for them is converting Mamu, assuming they're high enough on him, which I think they would be, to an NBA deal. And then you could sign either Gabriel or Tuck to the 2-way and have that. And that's even more flexibility. Or, of course, you could move off of Wigginton if they wanted to and then just have those guys on a 2-way as well. But either way, I think finding ways to give some of these Herd guys a shot would be really cool. I think those 2 are the most likely. Maybe LeCue, though. He's played well. But it doesn't sound like he's that interested in the 10.
Throwing down.
Yeah, he had a top dunk, right, on ESPN, a top 10 play or something.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be fun. But Tuck brings that too. And I think the Bucks would like the size, although with George Hill out, they do need guards as well.
Which is why you got to get Goran Dragic.
Yeah, seriously. I think that the main takeaway from this is like Herd guys
don't get Goran Dragic.
Would be fun. Go get Goran Dragic or Gary Harris if he does get bought out.
Yeah. Oh God, it's all on Dragic. Like I don't know. I want to talk about Dragic again for a second. Like,
okay,
if you're really considering the Lakers, you're not serious.
Yeah,
you're not. You're not. You're not a veteran who wants to win a ring.
Are you serious? If you're considering the Bulls,
I mean, the Bulls are way better than the Lakers.
Fair.
The Bulls have a shot of doing something this year. The Lakers have zero chance of doing anything this year.
Yeah.
Don't make Bulls fans upset, Ty.
Why not? Stay out of Fiserv if you don't want me to make you upset. It's annoying. I don't like watching the home games.
It's not their fault.
Well, I mean, they're the ones doing it. It's not. I mean, I'd probably do the same, but they're.
I think that's more on Bucks fans, Ty.
Yeah, I think it is too.
I don't know. I don't want to hate the Bulls this year. The Bulls are fun.
I don't care for them.
Maybe I have a friend who's a Bulls fan. So
well, I mean, it's like now. I mean, I don't want to be mean now because now it seems like the year is basically falling apart anyway. They were annoying in their high point when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna win the East" or whatever. But now it seems like they're just sad. So yeah, I won't pile on.
It's a mercy.
Yeah.
Shout out Shawn Mendes.
Okay, that's as you like to say. That's how we know it's time to wrap up. If we just said,
it's a song.
I know.
It's not that we've had much worse.
Oh yeah, but I think the phrase "shout out to Shawn Mendes" seems that we're on the way up.
You're probably
on Dragic.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Okay, let's wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Gyro Step here on the Gyro Step Podcast Network and the Blue Wire Podcast Network. Please leave a 5-star rating on your podcast platform of choice. Make sure you're subscribed on that podcast platform of choice. Make sure you're subscribed to the Substack. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube.
I think we've got one.
I know. I was about to say, Ty, do we have a review?
We do. It's a good one, too. Q212, I believe it is, says, it's a 5-star rating, of course. Headline, 5. If you like the Bucks, you'll like this pod. That's wow. I mean, that's a good selling point.
It's a good endorsement.
I might tweet this one. This is strong. The best compliment I can pay a podcast is that it sounds like a group of friends chatting on their couch about something they really enjoy and know well. It means there is chemistry and fun, and that's what you'll get with this pod. If you like the Bucks, give it a listen. Tremendous review. Thank you.
That is a great review. Thank you very much for that review. Yes, thank you. It's another chemistry one.
People see the sparks flying, man. And they didn't specify. This includes Adam and Jordan and all 4 of us as well.
They might not even be talking about us.
Yeah, they might not care about us at all, which is fine.
They might say like, oh yeah, Adam and Jordan, they have great chemistry. I don't know about these two. I'm subscribed to the feed just for Win and 6. And that's why GSPN was formed. Yeah.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win. Make sure you listen to what Adam and Jordan on the feed as well. And guess what? Like I mentioned, that's why GSPN was formed. It's all on one feed. Thank you again for that review. And we do read these reviews as evident by us reading that review. So make sure you leave one. It helps us out a lot. So thank you. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for all the continued support. Pod Random, go Bucks, and we will talk to you next time.